Another Stiff Pop Radio class. Stiff Pop Radio. For all the hits and classics.
So keep down, bro. Ha, dabba do dabba da, dabba do dabba da. Check in, this feeling like I'm Lazy 05, 06, 07 classic. Dabba do dabba da, dabba do dabba da. Hey, kubuluke shais doja, small space, chita wago shoba.
Hi everybody, welcome to I Collect Thrift interview season 2. I'm Cookette Autumn and I'm not alone, I'm with Ashley Kate. Welcome, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good.
It's good to be here.
So yeah, let's get to the basics. So tell us more about Ashley. Who is Ashley?
So right now I'm doing my 4th year or honors at Thrift in a Bachelor of Art in Performing and Visual Art. But I'm really excited for that to be over so that I can start doing like my own creative work, and I'm really looking at directing and working in creative management, basically cultural policy and management. So I'm also currently working on a web series called Conversations, and that's basically the project that I'm going to be running with from next year.
That is dope. That is really dope. So when did you realize your love for thrifting?
I don't know. Here, I think it's been so long, but in terms of thrifting, like by myself, I've been thrifting since first year, and I love it. I've always loved it.
So what would you say are the advantages and disadvantages of thrifting?
Well, I guess the disadvantages are that you may not always find something in like your size, or if you don't know where to go, maybe you're not going to find good quality stuff or stuff that you like, because it might be thrift for like someone else's interest but not for your style. But I would say there are a lot more advantages. Like if you have the time, like my favorite thing to do when I go thrifting is to go with friends, and you make like a whole day of it. And like if you go to MTN in the piles, or if you go to Newtown by Newtown Junction, that's always fun. Even when I went overseas, I went to Vietnam, and we just found like a street where there were a whole bunch of thrift shops, and it was super fun.
So what would you recommend thrifting to anyone?
Oh, of course, I would recommend thrifting to everyone. I think it's a great way to get clothes. It's affordable, it's eco-friendly. You can also work with so many more styles. You know, in South Africa, often there's a lot of trend shopping, and trend shopping can like just be super boring sometimes. So if you're thrifting, you can get like really amazing pieces for really cheap prices.
So what are the best and worst things that you've bought at Thrift?
So I think this is such an interesting question. I want to say this shirt, and the reason why I say this shirt is because it's my favorite shirt, but when I got it, it had like on this side all these holes in it at the top. And then I just gave it to a friend of mine, and I was just like, can you just do something about these holes? And all he did was sew it with grey thread, and then it was fixed.
Nice.
And you wouldn't even notice. Yeah.
She can't notice. Okay, so with this COVID-19 pandemic, how is thrifting affected?
Well, I haven't thrifted at all. I've barely left home. But what is very interesting is when I drove past MTN like a couple of weeks ago, it was super, super full.
So what would you change about thrift stores?
I guess it all depends on how it's set up. I think the pricing system is perfect, but perhaps like, for example, in the piles, it's really hard to like rummage through, and then when you and somebody else grab for the same thing, you're like, But it's really nice. I've heard of places that are like color coordinated, or also at the piles, for example, at least it's in like groups like denim or like suede or like t-shirts or like pants, and that's also helpful.
Okay. So what would you say are like the do's and don'ts for like people that have started thrifting, like first thrifters?
Well, I think first of all, you need to know how to negotiate your prices, because sometimes if you are a rookie, people are going to see that you're a rookie and they're going to charge you too high. And yeah, you can't let that happen. So that's not to say you must like also not pay enough for what you're getting, but like pay the right amount. I would also say like even if you're not trying it on, obviously generally you don't try it on, but check to see if it's going to fit you. There's no point buying something tiny and like wasting your time. But I generally like buying like baggier stuff from Thrift, and especially with the pants, you know, you can't always get pants that fit me because I'm like really small, but if you use like a belt, or if you're willing to like get them tailored, then that doesn't matter so much. Yeah, and the last thing is like just check the quality before you buy it, because you don't want to buy it, get home and then see it has a huge hole in it or something. Like just see that it's going to be worth what you're paying for and that is something you really want.
Okay, last question. So where do you see thrifting in the next 5 years?
Well, I think that a lot more people are getting into thrift. I think what's also interesting is that now on Instagram, there are a lot of thrift stores where people have obviously gone and bought it for cheaper, and now you're paying a little bit more to buy it from them. But that's not so bad, because they do the work of going to find the cool stuff for you, and then you kind of can just sit at home on your phone and like buy it like that. So I think that's definitely the future, like more stores like that. And I mean, even the stores that are popping up here in Braam that sell thrifted clothing, I think like more of that and going into like different areas, and people should get into it because it's a great way to
when it close to them shoulders, AK-47 or them rokas, rapping all over bet your culture. Imali yankeko badingo kudla bazofunga, light skin boy from the east, go heritage on my feet.
So what do you do?
Obviously I currently I collect the obviously sometimes, you know, but I used to sell thrift clothes in Cape Town, but then I stopped because obviously most of my clients, or customers rather, are based in Joburg. So I decided once I move to Joburg, then I can start the page all over again, or like find a physical location where I can try to
Oh, that's very interesting. So you maybe want to open a store.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
that's very cool.
That was actually the plan, but then things happen.
So why haven't you opened a store in like Cape Town, for example?
I just feel like not a lot of people thrift in Cape Town, so that's why. I just feel like, and there's obviously a lot of online thrift, but then obviously I think the one thing that would differ from the other thrift stores is that my thrift store would obviously be much cheaper because I get the
if it were in Cape Town.
Yes.
Okay, so are Cape Town thrift stores very expensive?
Very, very expensive. Well, not very, very, but they are expensive. And I can literally get this top for like 50 rand. And here I got it for how much? How much did I buy this for? 5 rand.
5 rand? Yeah, you see. That's incredible. So why do you think Cape Town thrift and Joburg thrift are different?
Obviously because like Cape Town is like a very, I don't know, high classified place, and then Joburg is just like, you know, and I think the reason why Cape Town thrift is expensive is because there aren't really a lot of people that thrift. So whereas in Joburg a lot of people thrift, and most of the people that sell the clothes in Cape Town are like, they're not really foreign nationals, whereas here NTN is like a lot of foreign nationals, and they're just very cheap, you know, and Cape Town is just really expensive. It's not that expensive, but it's just expensive compared to Joburg.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to people thrifting for the first time?
Be sure to check the quality of the clothes all the time and the size, because wow, literally sometimes you buy a big size when you actually, obviously when you see it you think like, okay, this is gonna fit me, but then when you get home it doesn't fit you. So always check the quality, just check the whole thing and the sizes.
Yeah, especially with pants, I know the trick, I mean even with shirts, the trick is just to hold it up to yourself.
Yeah.
And like check, I mean if it's here then you know it's going to be too big. And if the shirt is like this and you don't want a baggy shirt, then you know that's not the one.
That's not very skinny.
But also a great tip for people who are thrifting for the first time is like, don't get caught up in all the different thrift stuff that's there. Like don't look at everything, just like
go for your styles and that.
Go for your style, or go for what you're looking for. Like if you came for pants, get pants. If you came for a bag, get a bag. So what's the best and worst thing that you've gotten from thrift?
I think the worst thing was the worst thing is like most of my pants are actually very, very big, like really big. You know, I like baggy stuff, but then they're just too big. And I think the best thing, the blazers, because I really love blazers, so they fit me so perfectly, and the tops are just really amazing. So yeah.
Okay,
And
that's so dope.
these are very nice.
Are these from Thrift?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're super dope.
Yeah.
Buy and sell.
So thank you for your time. It was amazing. Your questions were like really dope. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.
So look at Liz who press delete. Behleka mina for my closest speech. Ngiye esikolweni kungekho Chris. Masheke